can you please give us a small introduction to yourself and how you got into writing?
I'm Tammy Bradley, and I'm a new indie author of dark romance. At the moment, I've got a series out which is Mafia. Oh, that's why I was getting confused there. It's a dark Mafia romance series. So I'm in the middle of writing that at the moment. The first duet is out, so it's several duets. And that's it, really. I don't know whether you can see me.
That really excites me. Mafia romance is always one of my favourites that I immediately want to read. You say mafia romance and I'm like, yes,
Oh,
please.
thank you.
What's some of your favourite mafia romance authors that really got you into the trope? I mean, I guess my next question is, what drew you to your current genre or style?
Well, the authors that got me into the dark mafia are Real Wild. Have you heard of Real Wild?
I have to look at covers, really. My names are not always the best unless it's someone
Little
that's...
Bird is one of hers.
Let me have a look online. Little Bird. And what is it, Real Wild?
Yeah, Real Wild. Absolutely fantastic.
Oh, yes. I have read that.
Yeah.
What happens? I remember the cover. Can't for the life of me remember what.
Absolutely fantastic. That one is really, breathtaking. But then you've got the next duet in that series, and the second book in that duet made me, really cry. Really cry.
Yeah.
What happens at the end? So it's kind of like
I'm so sure I have, but I can't for the life of me remember. That's terrible.
it's absolutely.
You read like 800 books and memories are shocking.
They're like kind of in the first book. They're like kind of enemies, and he kidnaps her, but kind of can't resist her. And so he's like fighting himself, and it's that she's such a good
I'm going to have
writer.
to read that now.
Yeah, she's such a good writer. I really enjoy her books. So for dark mafia romance, I'd say her. I am kind of a mood reader myself, so I'll read any genre. But like kind of the ones that got me, the series that got me back into like reading was The Mortal Instrument. My daughter brought me that, the box set, and I read that, and I read it and read it and read it, and then I got all of the books, Cassandra Clare. So that's what got me back into it, but I've kind of gone towards the dark book.
Yeah. I think a lot of people kind of gravitate towards them. There's just something so extra. There's red flags, a bit more like shopping lists.
Exactly. It's like, oh, you got me at the trigger warning.
It's funny because have you read Bryony Weaver's The Butcher and Blackbird?
I haven't,
series?
but that's on my to.
She's got like at the start of it, just
Yeah.
here, she's got like a 2-page trigger warning.
Oh my
list,
god, I've definitely got to read it then.
But no, this one's only 1 page, luckily. But like that, all that is trigger warnings. When you see these books that have, I can't put that back now, that have like 2-page trigger warning lists, you're like, okay, this is going to be interesting and exciting and probably really good.
I love it. I love it.
Honestly, it is so good. Yeah, I only read romance. Within the romance genre, I read all sorts. Like ACTA, I loved that, and then mafia romance, 100%. I stay away from small town romance sometimes. You can get really, really good ones.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I've had authors like Penelope Black's written some really nice ones. I think Forsaken Oath is one of them.
Yeah.
And Broken Pact, they were really good. But I don't know, there's just something about the possessiveness and the obsession from the male mensees. I mean, what girl wouldn't want to be the centre of someone's world?
Exactly. It's like with a lot of the dark romances, it's more the villain that you fall in love with. He's the hero as well, but he's also the villain, and a villain will burn the world down for you.
That is exactly it. The hero
Save
will...
the world.
I save the world. And I saw this quote, the hero will save the world, but the villain will burn the world
It's
for you.
exactly what it is, and that's what attracts us so much. A bad boy's good.
Yeah. It's so good. Oh my goodness. People don't understand it. I'm like, come on. I mean, yes, some parts wouldn't quite want that in real life, obviously. There's dark romance. You don't want that. And a stalker, I'd be so scared. I'm a paranoid person. I can't look outside the window when it's dark, so I think there's going to be a face there.
Definitely.
But the obsession and all that is so good.
To read it, to keep you captivated, you want to kind of escape out of the real world. We're living in it. We get that every day. So you want something that's going to take your attention away and keep you in that world. And this is what we try and create. you know.
I don't have guys lining up running after me, so I have to escape somewhere to
Exactly.
imagine that and dream that. I mean, honestly, that is the dream, a guy to want to make you his whole centre of the world, you know, so
Exactly.
if anyone's listening,
Yeah.
single. Do you remember being a first romance book that really made you fall in love with the genre? Or is it not really one specific one?
God. With my genre, like the dark mafia, or with any book.
Just any book that really like think drew you in.
Okay, I'm talking Hush Hush, and I'm talking, God, what's it? The Angel one. I can't remember. Fallen. That's the one.
Is that what's that one
It's
about? Is
kind
that
of
a
the Fallen
fantasy?
series is, oh, it's absolutely beautiful series. It's about angels, and they kind of been like shoved out of heaven.
Yeah.
And it's a story between two that have been shunned because they fell in love, and
Hmm.
basically the devil or the evil one fell in love with the woman as well. So it's kind of a battle between that they keep on meeting in lives as they go along in the human lives, being reborn and reborn, but they can
Hmm.
never actually be together. So it's kind of, it's such a,
I hope they get to the end.
yeah, such a beautiful story. And Hush Hush is, it is like that, you know, forsaken love
Hmm.
story where they're really never meant to be
No.
together, but they just fight for their love. So that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of. It's different things that attract me, really.
Yeah.
Kind of, I love enemies to lovers. So it's like kind
Yeah.
of where it's that you're never meant to be together, but you're just so attracted to each other that you'll make whatever work.
The tension, the angst is
Yeah.
up the charts. I think that's what really draws me to it is the
Yeah.
angst.
With enemies to lovers, I love writing that, and that's what I've written with the first duet, and it tends to be the ongoing thing for me because I really like writing that battle between the two, and the battle be within
And then
themselves.
when it's finally hits that point, that turning point, oh my
The
goodness.
fun.
And it usually happens just when you go
Yeah.
to sleep, isn't it? Or just when you have to go to work and you're like, no, gotta keep up. If it's when you're about to sleep, forget
Yeah.
sleep. I've got to keep on reading and finish a book. If you're about to go to work, then for the whole shift, I'll be thinking about that point.
But what happened?
I know, it's terrible. Always hits at the wrong time when I can't, I can't
It's
read it.
always, I'll just read one more chapter.
Yeah, I've done that a few
Yeah.
times. And the problem is when I start a book, I once started a book at 10 o'clock at night. That was a stupid decision, wasn't it? What
Yeah.
time did I finish it? 4 a.m.
Well, that's the only time I really get chance to read. If I can, it's
Yeah,
like on my Kindle overnight because you've got so, you know, you work, you look after your
yeah,
children, you write, and I do other stuff as well. And it's like you've got to have
don't
that
have the chance.
release, and it's just on a night, and it's you get a couple of pages, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah, done. I was just thinking the other day, I realised every time I set an alarm, unless it's before 7 o'clock, I always set it where I've got half an hour reading time. And usually I push it, I'm like, oh, do I really need. I can get dressed
yeah,
really quickly. Can I just have an extra 10 minutes? But I realise every time I set an alarm, I do that. I'm like, I only just, for some reason, it only just like came to like, I can't believe I actually do that. It's like, but you have to find it at some point. You
yeah,
need a little bit of downtime, a little bit of release. And with working in hospitality, it's really weird
yeah.
hours. So I'll be coming home at 1 a.m. I'm like, I'm literally falling asleep right now, but I need a
You do
page,
to get
something.
into that different world to like think I can relax
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, just been serving customers all day. I want to complaining that that something wasn't right. I need an
Oh,
escape. I need a billionaire,
I don't.
a mafia boss to treat me to buying clothes or something. Right down to work. Would you say you're more plot driven or people driven in your storytelling?
On both. It has to have a plot. I'm very
Yeah.
much like if I read something, I want that plot to be there to actually carry
Yeah.
through and take you somewhere to have some meaning behind it. Because without that plot, the characters I don't think can develop properly.
Yeah, they can flop very
Exactly,
easily.
because if you're just basing it on a couple of characters, yeah, they might be the most brilliant characters ever, but there has to be that plot that they've got to strive to or overcome.
The character
Yeah,
development.
and that helps you a lot with your, like you say, character development. Or even if, like, say, with my series, it starts off with the Siren's Cove and Nikolai's Vixen, which is the first duet, and that in that one you meet Valentina and Nikolai. But at the moment, there is a kind of happy ever after for now with those, but the plot will carry on throughout the rest of the duet. So really, you don't know what happens until the end. So it's kind of that plot is carried on through. So you don't get everything answered in that first duet, but you can just read that as a standalone and leave it there. It's up to you. But you've
Yeah.
got that plot that carries on throughout, and I think that's a good thing to have. You have to have that plot.
Yeah, definitely. Because if you have enemies to lovers trope and you don't have the plot, where's the character development? How do you
Exactly.
get to that point? What has brought you to the point where they actually finally become lovers?
Yeah.
So without the plot, it's like I don't read YA. For some reason, I feel like I need the adult points in it
Yeah.
just to make it something extra to, I don't know, to make it more realistic to what I want in life. I don't know. I'm not saying I want these extravagant whatever.
It's kind of striving, isn't it? You strive, even though you know it's not realistic with a lot of the things that we
Yeah,
read, but you strive for that in your dream world, kind
definitely.
of. It's like what your alternate world could be like.
So I feel like that's why I tend to go for adult
Yeah,
romances. Also, it makes it a little bit more exciting when it's open door than closed door. Like I don't know. There's something about it that I just don't really like to have the closed door, the
yeah,
imagination. Saying that though, I have read books where it's literally like bam, 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 and that's just for me isn't needed. I'm happy to have loads of scenes. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong, but some of it's not necessary. So it has to have the
yeah,
plot and it has to have the moments and the emotional aspect as well, because that's really why I'm there for the emotional
yeah.
aspect. So yeah, I feel like I don't know if I got that point
No,
across
I know what you mean. It's
properly.
kind of if they're just kind of doing the do all the time. There's no plot behind
Yes.
it. It's just a book about doing the do, and we all know.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It can be great, but sometimes it's too much. Like, yes, have that 2 pages long doing the
Yeah,
do, and the next one have one where, yeah, it's telling you about it, but not in the detail that some of them can.
yeah,
Like, it's just like half a page or something like that. Just a quick
yeah.
one, something like that, just to keep you going. But yeah, definitely the plot is a
Got
massive thing, and the emotional character
yeah,
development is so important. But I keep on saying that to authors that whilst I do love smutty
yeah.
books, do not get me wrong, love
Yeah,
them. I've I've literally got credence right there, so
very
obviously.
nice.
But it needs a really good plot as well. So
I'm
definitely
definitely a plot
it's a big
seeker.
thing.
Like that's why I like
Yeah.
enemies to lovers so much. I think because it's a big plot with the enemies to lover.
There's so much to it. There's such a tangled web of what's happening, twists and
Yeah,
turns. When are they actually going to finally become lovers? Because it's enemies to lovers, but when does it actually happen? What brings it to the point? And it's the anticipation that is
yeah.
just so good.
And is it gonna
It's
last?
definitely one of my favourites.
Because you never know.
Yes. I mean, I'd be so sad if it didn't last. Is that actually like a plot twist? Is it actually him who's going to be the
Mm,
MMC, or is it someone else? I've never actually had that where, well, except for Akhtar, but I always knew it was going to be right
yeah,
end at the end, where at the start off you think it's going to be one person and the next is actually
yeah.
not. Like apart from that, I've never really had an author tease you to the point where you think, oh, I'm starting to really like this love interest, and then whoa,
That's another one.
it's
Yeah,
not them. What just
yeah. You
happened?
normally get like somebody's like mistreating her or cheating on her, and then she
Hmm.
meets the. Yeah, definitely. Not many of them are like you believe that that's a love interest, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely,
Akatar kind of almost did it until a certain
yeah.
point, and then you start like I started to like him,
Mm.
Tamlin, and then I started to really obviously not like him. I see it's in your on one of your shelves, so that's why I'm talking about it. I assume you've read it at the
Yes.
top.
Well, to be honest, I have got to admit, I've read the first series. The called
Throne of
That's it.
Glass?
I've read that because I've got that series there, but I haven't read the Bat Boys yet. I know how bad is that? I
No,
haven't read the Bat Boys yet.
I've got Throne of Glass, but I haven't read that.
No,
I need to. It's a big
I
commitment.
know,
There's lots of
I
books.
know. I'm on the last book of that.
I could tell it was a big commitment.
Everybody's like, why haven't you read the Bat Boys? I'm like, I just haven't got round to it.
How do you not have them in your life? How have you not? I mean, I can't judge you. I had that on my shelf for probably 2 years. And my cousin was so mad at me because she loves it. She's like, you have to read it. And so one day I picked it up. First one, a little bit hard to get through until you got to like 3/4 of the book where it finally became something. You have to read it. I'm like obsessed with it. As soon as I finished reading it, I suddenly got inspiration to paint, which I never do, and I had to paint a landscape in it. I don't want to spoil anything. And I was just obsessed. Like so many of my videos at the time on Instagram was from ACOTAR. It's so
I need
good.
to read it. I do.
Honestly, I implore you to
Well,
read
I
it. You
have got the Bat Boys in my life because obviously social media, you can't get away from the Bat Boys.
I know.
So I do know about them.
You probably know the whole storyline already. You search for fan art and you have a look, you're like, oh, I just want to have a look, and then you get spoilers, and I'm like,
Yes, I'm like,
thanks.
quick, but no, I do need to read
I
it.
was I was talking to someone about it last night, and I was like, oh, I love them so much. They're so good. I mean, I got the exclusive ones as well, but
Oh, very nice.
yeah, I think they're just from Waterstones,
Yes.
the Blackout edition. But yeah, it's so good.
I love
I need to read the other ones, but like the smut factor, and he's just
Don't we all?
a little bit YA, you know. I think it's just the angst with the smut factor that is just so
Yeah.
good that I just need it. See, I will read them eventually,
Yes,
but
definitely.
not
I
yet.
will read these ones, but it's just like,
I'll be asking you in
yes.
October,
Do you think I'll get through it?
please, and then we can talk about it together, and I can ask you who's your favourite Bat Boy.
Okay, I will read. A lot of people are kind of they don't actually go with is it Ryland?
I always say Rysand, but apparently he's actually called Resand, but I can't.
Yes.
It's Rysand in
So
my head.
everybody kind of doesn't automatically go for him. So I'm a bit like, oh, might be interested to read.
Yes, I see why. Somebody asked me that question last night. Who's my
Yeah.
favorite? And immediately, because everyone else says it, I said Cassian because he's like he's funny, he's a lovable
Yeah.
character, and he's hot. But Rysand is just he takes my heart. I have to. He's like the OG Bat Boy. He's so lovely. Well, not lovely. I don't
No.
want to talk about it because obviously you haven't read it. But he's such a great character, and you just fall in love with
No.
him. You can't help it. And then Asriel, definitely can't wait for his book. I feel like it's gonna be
Yeah, I've heard a
really
lot of
good.
people saying that they want his book, and she hasn't done it yet, has she?
Yeah, it's been a long time. I think the next book I think that she's releasing is going to be an Akatar one, but we can't guarantee it's actually going to be Asriel's. I think I'd actually be so sad if it's not.
No, it would be, wouldn't it? If everybody wants it, definitely.
Yeah, but some authors like to make you wait. They like to tease you. And we love it, even though we say we hate
Yeah,
it.
I get that a lot. It's like, oh, because you get a lot of authors that do quick releases, and it's
Yeah,
like to try and keep up with that kind of a demand, what other authors
that's
do, it's just like mind-boggling. You just could, and I
yeah,
think if you can do that, fair enough, brilliant. But if you can't, it does put a lot of pressure on other authors that can't,
yeah.
and we got other
I
lives.
can't even imagine. I keep on saying to people, but I imagine as an author, your first book is like the pressure is on you because like it's an
Yeah,
achievement. I'm so proud that I managed to get this book out. If anything else, it's just a massive thing for
yeah,
myself. And then after that, when readers start to love it, I guess the pressure is then to make more books and to write and keep up and not have them waiting. But yeah, it's so difficult. And I know one author who for 4 months she had a 4 book series. She released a book
yeah,
a month, and she said never again, never ever again. And I'm like, I was shocked that she even did it. And the books were
yeah,
fantastic, but I was
yeah,
shocked. Like that is just crazy amount of
yeah,
work, and the editing and everything to go in with it as well. But yeah, it's too
yeah.
much. I mean, if you write slow or quick, we're just happy to get the books at the end of the day, or at
Mm,
least I am. But yeah, I've tried to dabble a tiny bit of writing, and I can't do it. So I know it must be really hard, and
yeah.
to say, I can't really say try not to pressure yourself because I know the pressure will be on all the
Yeah.
time. No, we're just really excited to read your
It
books.
is. It's like that kind of. You do think of the pressure, but I think as well with some of these that do quick releases, they've already got it in the back catalogue kind of thing. They've already got the book
Yeah.
there. They just need to either work on it and then obviously fire them out. Whereas I haven't got a back catalogue. It's all up here, so it's got to get written and be right.
But yeah, it's because like some authors who, especially like the big publishing companies, they say, yeah, that book's been ready for a
Yeah.
year or 6 months or something, so that's why they can do it ever. Which I bet it's quite nice to get to that point, but before that, I don't know how you get to that
Yeah.
point. You just have to be really quick at
Yeah.
writing because I bet it's quite nice to be so many works in front and you're not
Yeah.
like the pressure to get
Definitely.
it out, but
To be honest,
goodness knows
if
how
I
you get
think
to
about
it.
it now, I'd say maybe I should have had more of a back catalogue before I actually started releasing the first book.
Mm.
Ideally, because then you've got the books there to release when you want to. But then I writ when I wanted to, so it was kind of I
Yeah.
released it and people liked it, and I was like, oh my god, you know. So
But you also want to see feedback as
yeah,
well, don't you? You want to see which characters they love, and whilst it might not necessarily change what you're going to do, it might slightly like influence you a tiny bit to see their love for a certain
yeah,
character. But yeah, it must be so hard to get a back catalogue. And obviously, you're so excited, you've just written a book. Like, why would you want to hold off and releasing
yeah,
it with writing more? So, no, I definitely get that.
definitely.
Do you see yourselves in any of your characters, or are they totally different?
Val has got Valentine. She's got a lot of my traits, her quirkiness, her swearing, for definite, feisty personality.
We love
Yeah.
that though.
She likes knives. I like knives. Less said about that one.
So
Yeah.
curious now.
And then it's kind of her ability to overcome what she's had happen to her in the past and her upbringing.
Mm.
So there's a lot of qualities to her, but whereas she's like about 5'2", I'm like more 5'9". So it's kind of like there's differences, a lot of differences between us. But
Yeah,
yeah, she's got some of my quirks. She's got some of my more outlandish
knife
personality.
loving.
Yeah, and she isn't bothered about what she says, which I do sometimes, but I would love to just be more like spit it out.
We love a feisty female character, and I love that you get to see yourself, and there's character traits in that
Yeah,
though. But you have to, when writing, you're obviously gonna pull stuff. It's coming from you. It's coming from your life. You're obviously gonna have some sort of character traits in it. But it's really nice that you've got quite a few
yeah,
quirkinesses in that
yeah,
character. But we want interesting characters. We want something
yeah.
fun.
Because I read a lot of mafia, a lot, and I
Mm,
kind of was like, there's a lot of females that'll take anything that they throw at them. They're a bit weak. They're a bit maybe broken or certain
mm,
things about their upbringing, but then I wanted a female character that has had that life but has overcome it, and nothing's gonna keep her down, as in character wise, do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So I needed that feisty female to stand up to these alpha males that are in the mafia, so it's like I wanted several feisty females, and which I have created. So
Oh, I love that. It's so exciting. I'm definitely gonna have to be adding all of these to my
awesome.
TBR. But it's just like with sometimes I love reading when a female character is vulnerable because then the male main character can obviously protect
Yeah.
her. But sometimes you just really, really want a feisty female character that takes no shit.
But I mean,
You just need
yeah,
it.
Valentina, she's both. When
Yeah.
Nikolai does actually get to know her and she actually reveals some of it, or her friend does, in a few ways of what's happened to her, she has got that vulnerability there, but she does really well on protecting it. So he can still protect her. He can still look
That's even
after her.
better.
He can still be that, but knowingly
Yeah.
that she can look after herself as well, bless her. So she's a fighter. She actually
That's what we want.
fights. So she's a trained fighter.
That is amazing. I mean, with anyone, if it's the FMC or the MMC, at the end of the day, you want to see the vulnerable side when they start to get to know each other. You want to see that emotional aspect, as I keep on mentioning. So we love a bad bitch, but we also love it when she does show a vulnerable side and we see the cuddly, emotional, vulnerableness. So we do love that. So that sounds like the perfect sort of FMC to me. That's like, that excites me so much. Can you please give us a brief overview of those books? Maybe share some tropes.
Okay. So we've got the whole series is called the Vixens and Vendetta series. It's going to be roughly 6 to 8 duets. So you're talking about 12, 13 books-ish, maybe more, 16 could be. But I don't know yet because I don't know who I'm giving a duet to, who I'm giving a standalone to. So that's kind of in the thing. The first book in the series is The Siren's Call, and then the second book is Nikolai's Vixen. So each duet will deal with a character. So the first one is Valentina and Nikolai, and they're meeting, and basically they're in a world of Bratva, but they're actually Nikolai is the heir to the throne of the Bratva Empire back home, but he's actually kind of taking over Birmingham, where I'm from. So he's based there. And
You need Tommy Shelby.
yeah, Bratva, yeah.
But
Yeah.
Bradford, yeah.
And he's kind of based there, but unbeknownst, he meets, he's a playboy, he's kind of, natural mafia man. And then he sees this dancer at one of his clubs, the Siren's Call, and he just instantly falls for her and kind of goes on from there. I can't explain anymore because then that gives away the trope. But we have enemies to lovers, we have age gap, we have Bratva royalty, element. There's loads in there.
Oh, this is like the perfect checklist,
There's
really, isn't
absolute
it?
loads. And then you've got the next book, which is his brother, which is Nikolai's brother, which is Dmitri, who you meet in the first, and Tatiana. So it's kind of their different stories. The plot I can't really explain until you read it, but continues
Yeah.
throughout. And their whole kind of plot of the book is their alliance with different mafias. So you've got the Polish mafia, you've got the Sicilian mafia coming into it, and you've got the Irish mafia, and they all have to kind of get together to stop something happening that's that they're called the Immortal, and they need to stop them from doing what they're doing.
That sounds so
Thank you.
interesting, honestly. So how many books are currently out in that
Right, the first
series?
two are out, and I'm currently working on book 3, so I'm hopefully going to have that finished soon. And then book 4 should be out before October time. So basically, the next duet is due out, and I've also got some other works in progress as well, which is not for that series.
So each duet, so obviously, does the first one end on a cliffhanger following through to the second one, and then does it end on a happily ever after
Right
finale?
now, the Siren's Call is an evil cliffhanger. So you need Nikolai's Vixen there ready. And then Nikolai's Vixen ends in a happy ever after for now.
For now.
For now. Because obviously their character development will continue through the other books, but you won't see it as much as you see in this because the other ones are based on the other characters. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But in the end book, in the end duet or book, whatever I do, that will kind of give everybody's happy ever after or not.
Yeah. Or not. No. Oh, that's daunting. That's exciting, but scary.
It is, because it's like you're going to fall in love with all of these people, and then I'm going to be like,
That's
yeah.
cruel.
Don't we just love it?
I want to read it.
But I will warn you, in Nikolai's Vixen, there's a chapter, and my editor sent me a picture of her, and she was crying, buckets, ugly crying, at one of the chapters.
Why do we do this to ourselves as readers? Why do I want to read it even though I know it's probably going to destroy
But
me?
it's a scene, and yeah, it's very, very, very emotional. Very emotional. And I used
Well,
experience in my life to create that chapter. So it's like,
yeah.
yeah,
How did you feel writing it then and having other people start to read it if you brought it from your life?
kind of that somebody had experienced some of the pain, not all of the pain, but some of the pain that I'd experienced at that time. So it's kind of never going to touch what I've actually experienced. But it's
Yeah.
nice that they've known some of the feelings that I felt there, and they've experienced some of what happened to me and
Yeah.
happened to my family. So it's kind of like that little bit of me in there.
And you can express yourself, and it's a way for you to write about it
Yeah,
and get it out there. And I guess that's quite nice. And obviously, it's an awful. Well, I don't know what's happened, obviously,
yeah,
but to have that emotional aspect in your book, and it is really what we say is these authors put their heart and soul into it, and it really obviously shows with
yeah,
that. And when you have these emotional aspects, it's obviously coming from somewhere, and the fact that you've pulled this from your
yeah.
life, it's yeah. I mean, I don't know what the right word to describe it. I mean, it's obviously not fantastic the
Yeah,
situation, but it's fantastic that
well,
you
it
can
kind
write
of is
about
because
it.
I mean, like generally, you fall in love or you kind of love a happy part of a book, and but
Mm,
life's not always happy. So for somebody
no.
to have loved that much and got that emotionally invested in that one scene, that kind of shows a glimpse of something that they can connect with as well as what you've
Yeah,
connected with. That's what you want to do. You want to get that reader to live inside here for a little bit. You know,
he really did.
that's it is. It's kind of brilliant and heartwarming that a reader can feel a little bit of what you felt. Yeah,
Yeah, and kind of connect to that.
that's it. That connection that you've got.
Yeah. And that is so lovely, the connection between authors and readers, and
Yeah.
to have that, and to have these works of love being put out there is really
They're like
lovely
your
and so
babies as
special.
authors. It's like it really is.
Yeah,
And it does mean a hell of a lot. So, like, yeah, bad reviews hurt you, but also you think, I write for myself as well. So you kind of
yeah,
get your feelings out in these books and stuff. You know, I like them. Hopefully, other people will like them. And it just shows other people do. So you get the good with
yeah.
bad. And I'd just say, like, if you are starting out, just don't get worried about if you do get a bad review because, things happen.
Yeah, as long as you, at the end of the day, love
Yeah,
them. Obviously, as an author, it's a dream for others to
of
like your books,
course, of
obviously.
course.
But as long as you love them, I think that's the biggest
It
thing.
is.
Because if you don't love them, who will love
Yes.
them?
It's like yourself, isn't it? If you don't love yourself,
Yeah,
how do you expect other people to love you? You have got to have
yeah,
that love within yourself to notice and to actually feel love from somebody else because, so it's hard. Life's hard. Life is hard.
yeah,
So I think in a book, if you can bring across, your feelings in what you've been through, what you've accomplished, what you haven't accomplished, and give people a world to go into and think, things can be really, really bad, but,
yeah.
love wins out and
There's
friendship.
some amazing aspects
Yeah,
in it as well. Yeah. And I feel that's why also you need to put the hard aspects into book, because life is tough, and people escape in books because they want to see that you can have a happy ever after, you can have
exactly.
a good outcomes after the really awful
Yeah,
parts. So you need to put that into books to showcase that you can have your happy ever
yeah.
after.
It's like I've
Definitely.
got a quote in the first little bit of the book, and it's like, fair, fairy tale endings are not real life. You
Mm,
live life, you have what happens to you, and it's not always the knight in shining armor that you need. It could be the villain,
yeah.
you know. So it's like that kind of a life isn't like that. You don't always get that Prince Charming, but the
No.
villain is so good.
I'll still be hoping that we get something. I get something though. Be it the villain, be it the Prince
Yeah.
Charming. I'm still holding out
Well,
hope.
that's kind of what like Nikolai is in the books. It's like he's classed as a villain because he's Bratva. He's mafia. It's their class. He's a womanizer before he meets her. He's all that kind of tick 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 on the bad boy list. But for her, he's different.
Yeah.
He would burn that world down for her, and vice versa. So they're kind of both as bad. They're very possessive of each other, and you get that a lot around in the books. Very possessive, and Valentina's knives do come out to play quite a bit and get hidden in the knickers, and it tells him that he's got them if he needs them. So it's kind of like, you know, there.
This sounds so
Thank
exciting.
you.
Is it your first time attending the armories? Have you been
No, it's my
before?
second. I went last year. I'm only going the Saturday this year. I'm not doing the full
Mm.
weekend. So, but yeah, I went last year and it was absolutely fantastic. and I sat next to some amazing people, authors, and it was just, I absolutely adore Authors in the Armoury. It's a brilliant signing, brilliant. A credit.
I'm so excited. It's going to be my first time going, first time volunteering for anything as well. So that's going to be really exciting. I'll be
It's amazing.
running around trying to do little interviews and meeting everyone. I'll be coming to your table to say
Oh,
hello
thank you. Yeah, it's
as
absolutely,
well.
you will absolutely love it because there's so many brilliant authors there. Everybody, we try, with women, you need to raise each other up. You need,
Yeah,
and with authors, you need to raise each other up. You need to, you know, don't think, a lot of people think, oh, you're all authors, you're competition. We're not competition. We are
no,
here to raise each other up. We support each other
yeah,
wholeheartedly, and that's what you need. You need somebody supporting you, having your back, because it's a very lonely, lonely world writing,
yeah,
because you feel you're constantly writing on a computer, doing that, and it's like you do feel very isolated because it's not a job where you
mm,
go and work with other people, so you need that group of people that you kind of, you've all got similar things, you're all doing the same thing, so it's a
yeah.
brilliant atmosphere. It's really, I loved it.
Yeah, everyone said that. I've been to 2 signing events now and they've been amazing, so I'm so excited for this one. Every author has spoken so beautifully about the signing event, so I'm so excited to go and meet everyone on the interviews. So most of the authors are new to me authors, I think bar maybe
Yeah.
one, but I quite like that. I like meeting new authors and I'm so excited to actually see everyone in person on the day as
It's
well.
going to be absolutely fantastic. It is a lovely time. One of the best
Yeah.
that I've been to so far. One of the best, definitely. Very good.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank
talking
you.
to me today and having this get to know me interview. I look forward to seeing you in
Yeah,
October.
lovely. I can't wait to see you, honey.